My name is Fox. I am a computer technician. I actually do have some background in working with people, community leadership, do stuff like Sunday schools and host your neighborhood block party and stuff. But I want to get way better at it because it's something I can do, it's something that I found a lot of purpose in, and I want to actually excel at it rather
Right.
than just being able to do it.
What do you mean by excel at it?
What I mean by excel, well, the vision I have when I think of something like that is I want to be the guy that can walk into any room and light it up.
Hmm.
Not necessarily for the attention, but because I really want to be able to take these people, pull them together for something common that makes all their lives a little better.
Yeah. And so where were you when you started working with me? Like how painful was this problem for you? Scale 1 to 10. Make it easy, right?
Let's see. I had I had not too much long before I had had a couple groups like that just completely fall apart. And I felt kind of helpless because this is something I normally do pretty well. And for better or worse, I placed a little bit of my identity in it. So it made me feel like crap, feeling like this is
Hmm.
my purpose and I am failing at it.
Right.
And I want to figure out how to solve the problem. So, I don't have crushing self-esteem issues. So I can probably only say maybe 4 or 5 level pain.
Hmm.
But I'm also somebody that's not easily satisfied. So I want to get that to be as perfect as possible.
Right. And so now that you've gone through the program, how do you
Mhm.
feel about approaching this issue? You got any like crazy success stories? I know you talked about seducing that one Russian girl completely by accident.
That was the British one, actually, which, by the way, you absolutely slandered me. You said I was an accidental James Bond. I am very intentional about that, sir. Yes. So let's see. I'm not trying to use you as a dating coach, even if that comes up a few times. But yeah, I've had some success with the Venusians. Um,
For
something
reference to
work.
anyone not wearing that, that's based on the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
That's
The
right.
Venusians, the Venus
That's
inhabitants.
right. I am an astronaut. 11 minutes in space is all it takes.
There you go.
So let's see. I guess something worth mentioning is I know that Sam talks a lot about helping guys make friends, but I came into this not having no friends, and he's still been very helpful. I want to not go from the pit of despair to actually having a buddy. I want to go from, having some skills to being the best at it.
Mm.
And he's been a really good coach for that too. So even if you're a little bit further advanced, don't pass it up. Go for it. And
And what do you
it's
mean
it's always
by
helpful.
you said there that it's you just want to be the best at it? You said I was super helpful. In what way was I super helpful?
You gave me a lot of good things to think on and helped me connect a lot of dots that were already in my head from previous experiences
Hmm.
that I hadn't quite connected. You did that again, just like within 2 minutes of us talking. You connected something that I'd heard from another coach and that I'd heard from you a month before, and I hadn't quite put them together. I forget what it was, but it was like one of the very first things that you talked about today, and it's super helpful to be able to get those solidified.
Hmm.
I've found the experience to be very akin to when I've gone through a different transformative experience in my life where I've realized that something I've been doing or thinking or been taught for a long time isn't quite right. And I'm trying to re-piece together, I'm pulling apart these things in my head and trying to refit them back together in a way that they fit more. Kind of like when you have a jigsaw puzzle piece that you put in and you realize, hold on, that's not actually quite where it goes. And you're trying to refit it. Sam helped snap those back into place for me, like just within a second, just by saying the right thing at the right time. Hey, that's this piece, that piece, they go together. And probably saved me weeks of trying to puzzle over little bits like that. So it's Sam doesn't have, magic solutions for you, but if you go out there and you do the work, get some of the experience, you'll also find that you can get those exact same thing where those experiences and those ideas suddenly click together and you can start putting them in a place and they just start working.
What are three examples of that you remember?
Oh, hold on. I have to think about it. Remember I told you I'm a terrible note taker. What were some of them? I remember there was one like right before where you compared me to Stalin.
The becoming invaluable.
Yeah, that's it. That was it. The becoming invaluable. I was basically monologuing about like my various ideas out in space over like, well, this works, I'm kind of good at this, and this is how I've approached things. And you just snap your fingers like you're Stalin. I'm like, yes, I am Stalin.
There's one of them.
hmm Let's see what else.
We were just talking about today about the PR versus charisma.
hmm That's right. That might have been it. Um,
About
forget
those being
exactly
two
how the.
different games to play. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Then there was, let's see, there was one more. You talked towards the very beginning, you spoke about external versus internal processing, which is
Hmm.
something I didn't even realize that I do self-consciously. And it's not objectively a bad thing, but there's some weaknesses that it can cause. So I'm trying to be a little bit more mindful of that. Um, it's, I've also found that people who I've also been able to identify in other people, which is very interesting. For example, the British girl that I accidentally seduced. I was just talking with her, and I hadn't realized until a few minutes into it she was doing the exact same thing you talked about, and she was processing everything externally, which made it very amusing because unlike most girls who are fairly, shy and reserved and very difficult to read, she was just putting it out there and I was just basically playing Guitar Hero. It's like push the button as it says to. And she's over here like laughing like, "How do you do this? It's like you can read my mind." And like, "No, you're the open book here."
There you go.
She had
There
no
you go.
clue what she was doing and she made it very easy. So women, if you want to get a guy easily, just do that more. It makes it a whole lot easier.
And so now, how do you feel having gone through the program compared to where you were before? Scale of 1 to 10, like the scale I used before.
Let's see. So, to let me think. Scale of 1 to 10. I've probably gone from a good 5 to an 8. And the reason I can't say that it's 10 is because it's something that takes a ridiculous amount of experience to do. Sam has been really good at giving good ideas, helping me understand concepts that weren't quite clicking before and solidify them, which makes it a whole lot easier. But still, putting in the practice is very different. You can't ride a bicycle on your first try, no matter how much somebody tells you.
Hmm.
Um, so my advances have come as a combination of working with Sam, practicing on my own, meeting a bunch of different people from different backgrounds, and also talking with other people that I think have really good thoughts and have contributed to my life. But still, you've been a really good crucial part of that. Um, it's when you're approaching that 8, 9, and 10 area of a skill, it's not, especially with something that's an art form like socialization, that's not something I think you can get from one specific person, which is why
Hmm.
you just have to go out there and do it and experiment and maybe find some other people that have got some ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's been fantastic. It's been really
Good.
good.
Highly recommend to others.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
In
And with
fact, Sam's worked with
that,
one of my other friends also. He's done. I've been able to notice the change in my buddy that happened throughout his work with Sam. So
yeah.
yeah, he's helped other people that I value quite a bit too, which also goes to show Sam works well with pretty much any skill range. So
Hmm. And yeah, definitely with the skill range, I'll modify my approach. This is one-on-one coaching. I modify you to where you're at.
mm-hmm.
I know with you having to talk at almost the top of my level there, it's good because it forces me to stretch, expand, get out there.
mm-hmm.
For a lot of my guys that are just starting out, this is why I've got that course with supporting you. It's like, hey, here's the basics of what you need to know. We apply it directly to you based on the basic information. How many words am I going to use the how many times am I going to use the word base in one sentence right there?
Mm-hmm. All of them are
All right.
belong to me.
That is a classic meme. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. With
I'm
that,
older than I like to think.
right? And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Fox Forger, you've done
Mm-hmm.
good, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
You've done good
So
too. I appreciate it.
thanks, sir.